So, you're wondering what your gender identity is. Well, it's not like the old days. Instead of asking, do you like penis or do you like pussy, today it's a little more nuanced. Such as, are you an agender, a person who does not identify as any gender? This is different than being an aromantic or asexual. Are you androgynous? This is a term that can be described to use if someone expresses their gender with a mixture of masculine and feminine traits, or with traits that are neither strictly masculine nor feminine. Are you bigender? This is someone who identifies as two genders. These may be men and women, but they are you binary gender? Binary gender refers to the grouping of gender into only two categories: binary man and woman. This is an outdated belief that doesn't account for a vast range of ways that people experience gender. Binary sex. This is the belief that there are only two sex categories, male and female. While hospitals and governments continue to categorize people into two categories, there are many people who fall outside the male and female binary, including intersex people and non-binary people. Are you cisgender? Cisgender is a term for people who identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. If the gender you were assigned fits who you are a cisgender. Are you a cis man? You identify as a man who was assigned male at birth. A cis woman is a woman who was assigned female at birth. Cis-sexism. This is an assumption that everybody is naturally cisgender and that it is somehow unusual or out of the norm or deviant to identify as anything else. Cross-dressing is the practice of wearing clothes that aren't traditionally associated with your gender. Dead naming. Dead naming means calling someone by their birth name after they have changed their name. This term often is associated with trans people who have been changed their name as part of their transition. This is very hurtful and disrespectful thing to do on purpose. If you say someone's birth name by mistake, apologize, correct yourself, and aim to be more mindful moving forward. Are you a drag king? Someone who performs hyper-exaggerated masculine traits for the sake of art or entertainment, usually at a show or a theater. Usually the performer identifies as a woman, but not necessarily. Are you a dragon queen or a drag queen? Someone who performs hyper-exaggerated feminine traits for the sake of art or entertainment. Usually the performer identifies as a man, but does not necessarily have to do so. Are you FTM? This term stands for female to male. This term can be used by a transgender person who was assigned female at birth but is a man. Do you have gender dysphoria? This is the term used to describe the deep discontentment and anxiety someone can feel when they are living their lives with an assigned gender or sex that they don't identify with. Not all transgender people experience dysphoria, and it is possible to be transgender without feeling dysphoria. Are you gender euphoria? Gender euphoria is the experience of feeling great about you, your body, and your gender. It was termed to express a positive and exciting feeling of one's gender, and is a concept that is not sometimes talked about as much as negative experiences. Gender expression. How someone shows their gender through clothing, hair, and behavior. Gender fluid. Someone who does not have a constant or fixed gender identity or gender expression. Gender identity. Someone whose internal perception of their gender, how they feel inside about their gender. Gender-affirming healthcare. Gender-affirming healthcare is healthcare that hospitality attends to trans and non-binary people's physical and mental health and social health needs to their well-being while respectively affirming their gender identity. It can include gender-affirming surgery. Gender roles and expectations. People are assigned a sex at birth, and this often predetermines a gender role that a person is expected to fulfill. For example, if somebody is assigned female at birth, they will expect it to live and identify and outwardly present as a woman. Gender roles also create expectations such as being expected to act like a woman, carry out jobs that society deems appropriate for women. Gender roles and expectations are often reinforced by society, people around us, and by the media. Genderqueer, a term used by people whose identifying gender is queer, or whose gender falls outside the normal gender binary. It might be used by a person who does not subscribe to conventional gender norms or who identifies as multiple genders or no genders. Intersex. This is an umbrella term used to describe a wide range of natural bodily functions that do not fit the typical binary notions of male to female or male and female bodies. In some cases, intersex traits are visible at birth, while in others they are not apparent until puberty or later in life. Some intersex variations may vary, not to be physically apparent at all. LGBTI+ is a commonly used acronym for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or intersex. The plus sign is used to signify all the other gender identifying categories and sexual orientations that aren't accurately represented in the terms. Other variations of acronyms such as LGBT, LGBTQ+, and LGBTQIA+. Misgender, mispronoun. To refer to someone's gender or to refer to someone using a word that does not reflect their gender. This could be a pronoun such as he or her, or a form of address such as ladies and guys. This may be unconventional and without intent, or can be an intentional expression of discrimination. Regardless of intent, misgendering, mispronouncing has a harmful effect. If you misgender or mispronounce someone who by mistake apologize, correct yourself and aim to be more mindful moving forward. M2F. This stands for male to female. This term can be used by a transgender person who was assigned female at birth or male at birth but is now a woman. Non-binary. People who identify gender is exclusively either woman or man, or is neither between or beyond the gender binary. Pronouns. The words used to refer to a person other than their name. Common pronouns are they, them, he, him, she, her. Neopronouns and pronouns created to be specifically gender neutral, including some, zer, and fair. For those who pronouns, and not all people do, they are not referred, they are essential. Transgender. This is an umbrella term for people who do not identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. Trans. Sometimes used as a shorthand version of transgender, or to be exclusively a variety of identities under the transgender umbrella. Transitioning. The process of transitioning from the gender you were assigned at birth to another gender identity. Transitioning can but does not have to include external changes in experience or appearance, clothing styles, voice changes, mannerisms, changing your names, taking hormones, or surgery. Transitioning does not have to include any or involve any of this. Not all transgender people will have access to these sorts of things, feel safe to, or desire to transition in these ways at all. Transphobia, the fear or dislike of someone based on the fact that they are trans, including denying their gender identity or refusing to accept it. Transphobia can take the form of individual and institutional discrimination, prejudice, and violence against trans, non-binary, or gender variant people. Transphobia may be targeted at people who are, or who are perceived to be trans. Transsexual. This is a term that is used to describe someone who has medically or surgically transitioned from one sex to another. Some people find this term offensive due to its medical history. Furthermore, after medically transitioning, many people cease to identify as transsexual or transgender and simply identify as a woman or man. It is best to avoid this term unless you meet them somewhat in person and someone describes them to themselves that they are transsexual. Transfeminine, a trans person whose gender identity or expression is closer to femininity than masculinity. Transmasculine, a person whose gender identity or expression is closer to masculinity than femininity. If you need information or more information, please contact the internet for more gender identities that could be out there, and click like and subscribe for more awesome videos on this channel.